From a pro's perspective, there are things called communicative love languages. It's how people want to be communicated with. And we have to understand not ours, but whose. Right? It's not just call. That may not be their love language. Their communicative love language. Do you guys remember the coaches that used to run around? They still do it to this day. And they go, success in real estate is just math. It's just 25 calls a day. You got to do 25 calls a day. If you make 25 calls a day, just do 25. How many of you guys have heard that before? Okay, nonsense. 25 calls a day? Why don't we just grab a couple of red Solo cups with a string in between? Like, why don't we, 25 calls? Calls. How many of you, your preferred communicative love language is call over text or email, one of those other things? Okay? How many of you prefer text? Okay? How many of you, we can go on and on and on here. My point is, it's not just calls. I used to teach, and we still do to a lot of our students, we talk about marry the principal, date the model. Okay? Marry the principal, date the model. Thank you. Small room. I can see you and hear you. That's the... Principles are tried and true. They're forevermore. But models, strategies constantly change, right? So you got to date those. You marry the model, you marry the principle, you date the model, right? And so when we talk about communicative love languages, these things, when we say 25 calls a day, 25 calls a day, 25 calls a day, the call is the model, it's the strategy. The principle was communication. The principle was contact. Now, how that contact happens is not up to me or you. Now, phone is one way to contact. Email is another way to contact. Text is another way to contact. Social DM is another way to contact. Video is another way to contact. I don't determine what your communicative love language is. But if I sit here and go 25 calls a day, 25 calls a day, 25 calls a day, I'm going to reach 3 people and waste my time with 22 of them. But at least I get to be a victim and go complain that I'm making my 25, it's just not working. Jared said 25, it's just not, my coach told me. Treadmill. You're treadmilling it. You are running on a treadmill. You're taking credit for making your calls, but you're running on a treadmill because you're not understanding the world we live in today. And you could be in here and be top producer Bob, and bless God, I call people. That's what we used to do. Go for it, Bob. Go waste your time. Because it doesn't matter what world you came from. It doesn't matter what your communicative love language is. All that matters is the consumer. So one of the first things we need to ask people is we need to say, don't say, what's your communicative love language? Like, that's how you get Me Too'd, okay? Like, don't do that. But just, hey, how do you want me to communicate? How do you want me to talk to you? How do you like, whatever. There's going to be like, I like text. I like this. I like what, just ask them. I tell you to make the note in your CRM, but I know you're all not using them. So I don't even know what to, you're all paying for them. You're just not using them. But you need to make a note now. Like, how does this person, so now when you're making your 25 contacts a day, they're actually effective. Right? Now you're actually, okay? Now, how do you do that? I call this fishing in a different area of the pond. Because the goal, 72% of people work with the first person they have a what? Conversation. So the goal is conversation, not closings, conversation. So how do we do that? I mean, how do we make that real world? We live in a world right now where, okay, you get leads, you get, these kind of things that are going to pop up. You get clients, you get whatever, and we need to speak their language. So what do we do? What do we do when we only have one form of communicate? What if they only give us an email? What do we do? Like, what do we just go, well, that's what they gave us, so I guess that's just what it is. I call it fishing in a different area of the pond. My kids are both teenagers now, but when they were younger, and they were in Cub Scouts, before it gets weird, and the kids are wearing like cargo shorts over jeans. You'll all understand one day. It's a thing. So back when it was like normal and you're like doing camping trips and doing like whatever, we went one time with all of the dads and whatever and the kids, we went out fishing, which is not really fishing. It's really just fixing lines the whole time. You're not really fishing. And, they got 40 kids and 12 adults in this tiny little area of a pond. There's probably 2.5 fish, all just throwing their lines right in the same spot. They're all getting tied up. Everyone's getting frustrated. Dads are losing. And it's just, oh, I hate that stuff. I hate it. And I finally grabbed my 2 kids and I said, hey, grab 2 other kids you like. I'm going to teach you a life principle right now. And so they grabbed 2 other kids and I said, guys, this is called fishing in a different area of the pond. So I grab these kids and we go about 100 yards down yonder. Never said that word in my life, but let's go with it. You knew what it meant. We went down yonder, okay? We go about 100 yards down yonder. Kind of like it, actually. It's kind of a cool word. We should bring it back. So here we are, and no other kids, no other anything, no, nothing. And every one of the kids that I'm with, my 2 boys and whatever, all catch a fish. Quick, whatever. Because they don't have 52 lines going after 2.5 fish. And so why do I tell you this story? We have to learn within our business, how do we go down yonder? And what do I mean by that? So you get a lead, or you have a client, or you have whatever, and all you have is their email, which is the most common piece of information you'll get is the email, right? Well, you could try emailing them, but what if that's not their love language? It's not mine. I get a lot of emails every day, guys. Every single day. So yours is just like everyone else's. So what if I now take that email, and now I plug that email into this little startup called Google. And now, on this little startup, I do a little internet stalking. And I find out everything about you. I find out every social platform you're on. I find out the ones that you're active on. I find out what teams you like. I find out if you have grandkids. I find out all of this stuff. Now I see, oh, you're active on Facebook, you did it, whatever. And now, because I put in your email and that's what showed up, was all the social networks you're on, I go to your Facebook status. I look for your latest post. I see that we have kids that go to the same school. I go to your latest posts, and I comment something about the post, and I say, by the way, check your DMs, just sent you a message. And then in their messages, I send them something and go, oh my God, too funny, it looks like our kids go to school together. Why am I starting with that and not something about the house? I want them to be worried about running into me at the school. Can't ignore me, we might run into each other. This could happen. And so I'm gonna be like, hey, our kids go to school. I might be there, whatever. And then I'm going to go, by the way, got your information about blank, Now I'm going to go into the thing, but I'm going to try to fish in a different area of the pond where other agents aren't fishing. Just because the form they filled out asked for an email doesn't mean that's their communicative love language. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to take that thing, and I'm going to go put it into my, how you guys text on your phone? Any of you have iPhones or Droids? If you put an email where you normally text instead of a phone number, if it's an email that's associated with that Apple or Google account, it goes through as a text message. Has a little bit of a higher open rate than an email. Now I'm going to go try to text them. But I'm not going to text them and say, hi, this is Jared. I'm a top producer 2017, 2019, 2020. Don't ask me about 2018. No, because I understand that on different platforms, we communicate differently, right? Like, if you text me something funny and I write back LOL, completely above board, awesome, nice. If you say something funny to me and I look at you in person and go LOL, I'm a freak. Like, that's weird. It's a different communicative platform, right? So now that I'm on text is quick. Text is, half the time the stuff my kids send to me with letters and whatever, I got to look up what it means. They're like, I'm doing this to save time. I'm like, you're not saving me time. I got to go Google everything you're sending to me. This is not, would you just write the word? He's like, NM. Like, never mind. I had to go look it up. I'm like, never mind. Okay, well, we just took time doing that too. But now I'm going to speak appropriately to the platform that I'm on. So text is quick. It's not long. It's quick. And so I'm just going to go, is this John? And they're going to be like, huh? Yeah. Who this? Now they know that I know that they're there. Whereas if I had just sent it before, they would have been like, oh, I'll get back to this later. Even though they were interested, they'd be like, I'll get back to it later. And they mean to get back to it later. But then the world takes over, guys. They get busy. We assign like these evil things to everybody. Like, they're just ignoring me. They're just not serious. No. They live the same life you do where you don't remember what you were thinking about 5 minutes ago. Right? It's the same exact world. So I need to get a reaction. 72% of people work with the first person they have a conversation. Someone will be like, is this John? He's going to be like, yeah, who this? I'm going to be like, oh, got your request. But now he knows that I know that he's there. So now he's got to talk back and forth. Conversation. Do you see how this works? You got to find the communicative love language. This is the market we're heading into now, guys. Pros. Number of transactions going to go down. Plenty of transactions are still happening. Not to mention the number of agents dropping off. We've had 100,000 agents drop off since January. One agent every 6 minutes. And to many of them, I say, good riddance. And to some of them, I say, it actually saddens me because some of them fall off because they haven't had proper training. They haven't had, they weren't given the chance they need. They were at the wrong brokerages. They were at the wrong, you know what I'm saying? So we can't just wash them all away like, who cares? There's good people. And by the way, what saddens my heart is there's good people moving forward. There's people in this room who are going to struggle moving forward because you're going to try to rest on your laurels of what got you here. And that's not going to work. So we have to understand that communicative love language. We have to understand that in the world that we're in right now, so important. You know, there's no more of this just believe the narrative that everybody's, oh, these leads suck, or this person's this, or that person. No, guys. Anybody you talk to is good for your business. A lead that doesn't work out right now adds to your database. The size of your database determines the size of your business. Okay? So we got to stop saying no for other people. So when someone reaches out and then we reach out and they don't reply, our job as pros in this industry is to follow up until we get one of two fingers from them. So they're either going to give you one finger that says, let's work together. Or they're going to give you another finger I'm not going to show you right now, but it means let's not work together. But until you see one of those two fingers, stop saying no for other people. Okay? Everything you do along the process is a demonstration to them of what they can expect once they make the wise decision to work with you. Everything you do. So when all the other agents fall off and stop following up and go, these leads suck, and all this other kind of stuff, everything you do is a demonstration of what they can expect when they make the right decision to work with you. So when you follow up for 8 months with absolutely no response, guess what's going to happen in 8 months when they're finally serious? When they do reach out, the first thing they'll do is apologize. And you know a lot of you have experienced it. So sorry. You know, thanks for staying in touch. I've just been really busy. I wasn't really serious yet, but now we're actually looking at this one just came up. Does that happen or no? Yes. And now they know, oh, what you just did here, that's what I need working for me. That's who I need working for me, because everything you do is a demonstration of what they can expect when they make the right decision to work with you. And the words we use matter. You know, when you call someone and they're like, I'm not really looking to sell, do you just go, oh, knew it, another sucky lead? Because I would dominate you. Like, while you have that mentality, I would dominate you. Because sometimes they have a different expectation than you. Sometimes they have a different idea of what's real than you. They have their idea of wanting to sell, needing to sell, might be different than yours. So when they say to you, can we talk a little skill set for a little bit, guys? Can we do that for a little bit? I got limited time here, but can I? Yes? That's where I'm going. Just looking for a little agreement. Going there anyway, let's be honest. In my head, I was like, that's where I'm going to go. But when someone says to you, from a skill set perspective, someone goes, I'm not really looking to sell. I'm not really looking to buy. What do? Do you, okay, thank you, hang up the phone and just, I hate my life? You know, no, not even good, yes, but better questions deliver better results, better answers. So I'd say now or ever. And they're like, well, no, not ever. We just want to wait till the summer when little Johnny's out of school so that we can get him into, you know. And you're like, guys, that's a seller to me. Right? Now, to them, it wasn't. Because, by the way, they grew up in the exact same world that you did, where they didn't have access to a phone, where they're looking at homes 9 months before their spouse even knows they're looking to sell. And so the world they grew up in was, when you talk to an agent, you're ready to move forward. So when you go to that open house and you meet them, when your friend refers you to them, when you meet them, you move forward. So now they are put into this world where we're reaching out way before they are ready, although they filled out information, they had a friend tell them to call, they had it, you know, there was something that triggered, I'm ready to go right now. But their definition of I'm not really looking to is different than yours. And the only way you figure that out is by asking better questions. Okay, I'm not really looking to buy. Now or ever? You're never going to buy in your life again? They're like, no, just not right now. Like, we want to wait until. Well, what about when they say, well, we want to wait until rates go down? What do you say to that? This is why pros are needed, guys. Pros.